Well, welcome back to Crowley House Flower Farm. I'm so glad you could join me today for a year in review here on our farm. 2022 was a year that was exciting and because we kind of stretched the farm as far as what we were doing. We were kind of growing at a bigger pace than we had in the years past, but yet it had some challenges that come with it. At the end of the video, I will give a full kind of recap of how I felt it went and the things that we would do different or the things that were successes. So stick around for that. But first, here is just a beautiful overview of the full year here on the farm. hope you enjoyed that little bit of beautifulness of the farm that we captured for our YouTube channel. And we just kind of compiled everything together and kind of put it out there. And actually for me, reviewing all of this was amazing. Like, you kind of saw everything that you actually did. And that's what I love about YouTube, is that it kind of keeps you in check. There were some videos I was watching that were like some older videos of ours where I was talking about doing something, and some of the things I actually did do and others I didn't. And I thought, wow, you know, that kind of keeps you in check. So I love that. Anyways, I thought I would just go through and talk a little bit about the challenges and the amazing successes that we had here on the farm. So we are here in Oregon, and our farm is on around 4 acres. Jason's probably going to put the correct, it might be 3.5. I think it's about 4 acres. And we not only grow flowers, but we also do some homesteading, which I guess that's what they call homesteading now. I've always grown vegetables. I've always raised animals, but we kind of got into it a little bit more a couple of years ago. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that as well, of like doing both homesteading and flower farming. It can be challenging to do both, but it can be done. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the growth of the farm. The farm is growing by leaps and bounds. Now, I could grow way more flowers than I actually do, but I don't think I actually want to. I liked how it kind of came together this year. It was kind of, I felt like it was my max, and I felt like we did a really good job of kind of balancing the yeses and the nos. So as far as what we did here that did really well on the farm, was one, the market bouquets were probably our #1 success story that we had this year. We did a really good job with it. We had bouquets from early spring. I believe it was March through the end of December. And so to me, that was like a really good success. The other thing we did well was our weddings. We did really well with just keeping track of everything, keeping everything in line, and just non-stressed about it. We had less weddings this year. We took on less weddings. We said no to some weddings, and part of it was just because time management for us was kind of a hard thing. That was one of the things that we probably lacked on, and that shows in the homesteading portion of the farm. So as far as the animals went, I mean, we gave them everything they needed, but we just didn't have the time to devote to what we really want to see in the future. So like even our chickens, we're down on production of eggs. We need to kind of get some new flocks introduced. We need to take out some old ones. We would really like to have more sheep on the farm. We've had sheep in the past and we absolutely love them. And we do have one sheep now. He is just, you know, he's like a lawnmower. So that portion of it, we need to revamp. We need to just clean out the pasture back there, reseed it, get it groomed. We've got a lot of thistle in there and a few other things which are great for birds, but not necessarily a beautiful pasture that we want to be healthy. And so that needs to be a priority, and that just didn't happen this year. So we are looking forward to doing more on that. In fact, if you're local or close to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, there is going to be a homesteaders meetup there, and it's going to be really, really fun. It's going to be really, really fun. So my husband and I think the rest of the team are going to go. We are volunteering, helping out with portions of that. I believe I think we're just in charge of all the volunteers. So if you're volunteering, you get to say hi to us. But that's going to be a great lineup. I'll put a link below to the website so that you can get there, because that would be amazing. It's June 30th through July 1st. So if you can take vacation during that time and meet us out there, would be amazing. We'd love to see you. So some of the fails that we had here on the farm, one of them was totally out of my control. One was that we had really, really wet spring, and it was super hard for us to get like our dahlias in the ground and some of the other crops. So we had like a really late dahlia harvest. And that's just going to happen. I mean, it's like I can fret about it, but it's one of those things where it's good to have multiple crops so that you're not relying on just that. So we had our mum crop, which was amazing success and beautiful crop this year. So that kind of took the place of some of the dahlia fails that we had, even though we did have dahlias that were growing in a greenhouse and we had, you know, all the things, that kind of was hard. Or I'd say a fail, but not really. I don't know. You just have to work with Mother Nature. So it was wet, late spring. We just got crops off to a late start. We lost some trays because we were ready to plant them out at the time that we normally plant them out, and we didn't. So that happened. The other thing was we had an issue with gophers the year before, and we hadn't gotten a good gopher person to come out and kind of take care of the gophers. We finally found somebody that was amazing and came in and just took care of the whole problem. So there was one field that we actually didn't plant because of that reason. And so that kind of just sat, which was fine. We just, you know, let it rest for a year and we're calling it good. And that's a good thing to do sometimes. So blessing in disguise, but that's one of our, I call it like a fail, but again, it's Mother Nature, so it happens. My other fail was we didn't have water hooked up in some areas on time when we had new seedlings in the ground. We had some water fails with our other farm that we farm at, where there was a part for there's like this little thing that's like a pump that goes down into the water and then pumps water out to the big fields, and a part broke on it. So we didn't have water in some of the crucial times. And so we just kept our fingers crossed because it was super hot. And thankfully, like, our pumpkins came through eventually. They looked horrible for a while, but it was a little nerve-wracking. Again, that also affected the dahlias that were out in that field. So in the end, I got a beautiful harvest that you saw here just a minute ago, and it turned out amazing. So I'm not marking it up as a complete fail. Another success was our farm looked really good, especially in spring. I was super proud of the way it looked. Here on our small farm here, we do kind of more of like a cutting garden production or garden production. I call it, more than like the full-on farming where it's like intense farming, kind of ugly. So flower farming in general is not as beautiful as you see on Instagram. So when you're in full production, it can be beautiful, but it's kind of utilitarian, or it's kind of like, you know, you have this beautiful crop, it's barely even showing color or blooming, and you cut it all down, you know, and you ship it off, and then it blooms for the florist. That's technically how actual flower farming, I guess, is, like in big production. Now, that doesn't mean that our small farm isn't big production. We do have sections of it that are, but here on my farm, the only big production we have are some peonies and some roses. The rest of it is more of like a cutting garden, beautiful. We use it mainly for weddings and events because we're a farmer florist. That is just small smatterings of beautiful flowers that are around and in the landscaping, because we do host here on the farm. So I felt like our hosting, the way the farm looked, some of the big projects like this little greenhouse got done. So those things to me were just amazing successes, and we kept up on it. Whereas sometimes when we're contracting and we're going out to another farm, we have the drive, we've got just, you know, you pay, you rent land, you have water issues or not water issues. It's a drive, you know, all those things that can kind of come into the big farming. It just takes a lot more time and that kind of things. The other really cool thing I feel like we did a huge success with, and I think you guys might agree, I don't know, I'm sure you will, but we put out a YouTube video once a week, and I'm super proud of that. It's really, really challenging to do when you're a full-scale farmer, and running all the different avenues that we do, I found like it was a challenge. Now I could see if you were a smaller scale farmer, how this is just another avenue to maybe make some money. I don't really do it for that reason. We do it just because it's a beautiful life and we want to share it with you. So that was our main reason behind our YouTube channel. But we found very quickly the first year we did this, how labor intensive doing videos are and doing videos well, because my big theory on YouTube and what we do here is not that I'm not an educator. I mean, I can educate because we do events here on the farm, we do classes, but I want to bring something beautiful to people, and I don't want it to be a waste of time. I don't want to just have a video up that is, you know, like, it's just, yeah, I just don't want to waste your time. I want to bring people joy, and that's the reason we do this. Yeah, there's times where I kind of throw in some education here and there of growing and gardening, but honestly, sometimes I don't feel like I know that much. I've just kind of learned from doing. But I do feel really proud that we actually got some videos up. Sometimes we were late on them, but in all, we had videos that I felt were pretty good quality and that had intent to them. So I hope you saw that as well. And I'm trying to be different, I guess. And I want to have intention behind my videos. So going forward here on the farm, we are going to continue our YouTube because I really enjoy doing that. It's kind of a creative outlet for me besides just growing flowers. And it gives me some, I don't know, I like having the companionship of people like you guys just tagging along with us and giving your little inputs and stuff, so it doesn't feel like the farm is so lonely, I guess. Even though I have workers and that's helped a lot, but farming when you're solo can be really lonely. So I enjoy having you guys along with me. So going forward with YouTube, we are really striving to get 2 videos a week. We're trying to get one up on Sundays, and then we're trying to get one up on Thursdays. And so when I say try, that is seriously a goal of ours. So we are making every effort to make that happen. Our son, Braden, does the editing, so sometimes the schedule gets off a little bit. Also, my husband helps with that, and he works a full-time job still off the farm. That's my other goal. We'll talk about goals later and what's going to happen for 2023. So it's exciting. It's a big year for us. So again, it's just changing, you know, and that's the thing about flower farming. It changes all the time, and you have to just kind of go with the flow. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little chat with me, just talking about the year in review, and enjoyed that little snippet of the year. I know I did. I loved, my husband did part of this video and I was helping him with it. I just loved seeing it all to come together, and just the beauty of it. I think spring's my favorite. I don't know. So what was your favorite season? The winter, spring, summer, or fall? I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear anything that you might want to see in the future from us on our YouTube channel, whether it's more gardening, homesteading, flower farming, just day in the life of kind of thing. So anyways, I'm glad that you could tag along with me here, and until next time, much success in all you do and grow, and we'll be seeing you back here at Crowley House Gardens very, very soon. Bye-bye.